there's always this balance. You want to look professional, and you want, especially when you're dealing with larger companies, you want to give them a packet of information that lets them understand the organization and your social mission. You want to give them a packet of information that lets them understand the level you're asking for and what they get in exchange for that, as well as the levels above and below that. So they get a picture of what everyone else is getting as well. And then you want to have a proposal that they get that goes along with it as well. And some people spend thousands and thousands of dollars on glitzy printed pieces, and I don't think that that's necessary all the time. I think depending on the donor and depending on who it is and at what level of organization you're at. If you're in an organization with a $200 million budget, well then you can afford a couple $1,000s on some glitzy full color brochures. For an organization that's, like most nonprofits, under $5 million or under $2 million, you gotta, do what's within your budget that makes you look professional and makes you look legitimate into what you're trying to do. At Poncho, we have a very nice folder that sort of describes Poncho. It's our new branding and marketing that has a lot of black and white photography in it, kind of grabbing snapshots of people in the community and organizations that we're supporting, which, and then tells a little bit of the story about Poncho and our history. And then in that, I'll put our annual report, which is a great marketing piece because it talks about the groups that we're supporting, talks about our donors, talks about the companies that are supporting us as well. All their logos are in there, and so they get all excited to see that. As well as I put in just a nice one-page sheet that describes the sponsorship levels, and I've done pretty low-key but nicer double-sided brochures that describe the events, that capture pictures and capture the information about that event, give a little bit of information about the demographic, who's in the room, why should they care. Wow, I didn't realize that 80% of the people that come to your event have $1 million or more in assets. Okay, well that means something. Those are all the basic information, and then usually just a one-page or two-page letter describing the ask that we're making, usually one page because most of these people get hundreds of these at any one time. And I want to, and when I'm sitting down with them, you have the discussion and then you leave them with the packet. Occasionally I'll send those out in the mail and then follow up with a phone call, especially if it's a sponsor that's been a pretty regular sponsor at a table or something like that, just to get them back in the door. But it's that personal follow-up that people like, and some of my sponsors don't even have to think about it. They just immediately send me an email, hey, I got your packet, we'll do this level, great, done. And I love those. Those are the best ones because they take no energy whatsoever. And then there's ones we have to go spend a fair amount of time with. But the packet should be pretty simple. It should be something that you can mail out that a person could look through and it's self-explanatory. Always put a business card in there or two, and so that way then the person knows who to contact because they don't always want to read everything. And when I do the sponsorship form, it lists out what it is I'm asking for, the level I'm asking for, and then in bullets describes specifically the recognition they'll get at that level of dollar. And if after I've had a meeting with someone, I'll come back if the meeting has been good and they're like, okay, well here's what we really like, and they'll give me a little more specific. I'll come back and tailor that so that it fits within my realm of sponsorship appropriateness, but then also then is tailored to what they had specifically talked about. And then I'll send that on to them so they can move forward in their process as well. And most corporate folks and most foundation folks do not want to read 80 or 90 pages of anything. They'll get hundreds of requests for sponsorship, for support in a week. And they have maybe 3 minutes to look at something, and it's got to jump out at them. And I always do a brief synopsis of the event that I'm asking to fund, and then do the bullet points of what it is they'll get in exchange for their sponsorship. And then there's, of course, more supporting information, but they can pull that one sheet out, look at it, and decide if it's worthwhile for them to do. So it has to look nice without being, you don't want it printed in, on very expensive. You want to balance that there. You're a nonprofit, you're asking for support. They need to understand you need their support, because if it looks too glitzy, they're going to be like, you don't need my sponsorship. It can sometimes backfire on you if you're not careful. But there's that kind of fine balance.